you, Oliver. I don't think the coming season will worry Barry Town too much at the moment. It's the next 45 minutes. And we heard you mention there about Newcastle and their success in the Intertoto Cup. Former Newcastle player Maric is one of the FC Porto substitutes this evening. Well, for Barry Town, they have David Ford, Richard Kennedy, Matty Davis, Scott Morgan and Neil Sharp. Both sides are out on the pitch. We're just waiting for the Greek officials. And I don't think the crowd here will allow the Porto players to rest on their laurels in this second 45 minutes. They're here to celebrate. It's a carnival atmosphere, and they're enjoying what they've seen so far. 5-0. It has to be said, they did expect a comfortable victory tonight, the people in this particular part of Portugal, but maybe not 5 goals by half-time. Barry then this time playing from right to left in this second half, and I wonder what's going through the minds of the players out there on the field. 5-0 down. They'll just be looking to play for some pride in this second half and keep the score down. But any hopes of progressing into the next round to play Grasshoppers of Zurich, the Swiss side, have well and truly gone. Ian Walsh, mentioned earlier your long-standing friendship with Peter Nicholas. What do you think he will have been saying at half-time?
Well, I think he's a realist, that's for sure, Peter, and I would have hoped that he said that you're playing against a quality side, just try to do a little bit better yourselves and not be too hard on them. But I know he'd be frustrated in the fact that they've had 2 good chances and there's been a few sloppy goals, a couple at least out of the 5 that perhaps they shouldn't have conceded. He's very positive, Peter. He'll want, because we were talking to him earlier, and he was thinking that he'd try to keep it down to 1 or 2, but sometimes it doesn't always happen like that. And I just hope that he'll try to encourage his team to go out there in the second half and try to have a sort of a 0-0 scoreline, and for Porto not to add any more to the 5 that they've already got.
Players out there, the Porto players, will feel that the job is done, which it is, of course, but that might help Barry in the second half. Tim Clark called into action early on, pushing the back there of Jamie Morley. Free kick is quickly taken, Staton, and that's offside against Flynn. Secretario, and it's with the captain Jorge Costa. 3 players up for Porto at the moment. One of them making the run now is Capuccio, and a bit of luck there for Barry. Came off his heel.
It's that same ball again, though, down the channel, where Gary Lloyd has just pushed a little bit far forward, and then Capuccio making the run between the 2 Barry defenders, and here he goes again.
Ball was loose, and it allows Barry the chance just to clear their lines. It's with John French. Flynn. Morley wants the ball wide on this left-hand side for Barry, and they have a free kick. Kenny Brown, former West Ham player, thought about taking the free kick. The responsibility now lies with Luke Staton. Lee Phillips pushed up, so too was Andy York. Philip Barry's best hope of a goal is this high ball into the penalty area, where the goalkeeper seems unsure. But by pushing players forward, obviously they're going to be caught out at the back again. And Porto break with pace. Here comes Capuccio, support in the middle again. Capuccio just delays slightly over the goalkeeper, and good defending. And Barry can clear their lines.
Well, We hear it at half-time that they can break very, very quickly, and again, that's a ball, a free kick into the penalty box. Barry couldn't get an effort on goal, and all of a sudden, within 2 balls, Capuccio is sort of lifting a lovely ball into the far post. He's getting so much space tonight, that man, down the right-hand side. Ball just flicked out of play there from Porto, but Capuccio just drifting out into wide right position, getting so much joy.
And a double substitution to be made by Barry. Richard Kennedy is wearing 12 and Scott Morgan 14, and they're replacing Terry Evans. There seems to be some uncertainty amongst the Barry players who is to come off, but Terry Evans is one of the players departing, and certainly Richard Kennedy is taking his place, and Scott Morgan, son of former Torquay manager Stuart Morgan, who played in the first leg against the Shamkir of Azerbaijan at Jenner Park. He comes on, and I think he's replaced Jamie Jenkins. Barry needs some fresh legs. It's not going to change the outcome of the game, but just help them in the next 45 minutes or so. Morley, Secretario's after him.
Ball just drifted out on the pass. Gary Lloyd giving a bit of a look at the assistant referee down this near side.
Throw was quickly taken. Deco, Capuccio. They were asleep then, Barry.
Yeah, Scott Morgan just coming on a substitute, isn't into the pace of the game. Just let Capuccio get away from him down the right-hand side.
Capuccio again. 2 sticking like glue to him. One of them, Scott Morgan, and it's the first corner of the second half. Just under 6 minutes played in the second half. If you're just joining us, it is 5-0 to Porto. Be 6, and it is 6. It's that man, Pena, with his second. So easy, really. One cross from the right, they all missed it. No one watching Pena had time to pick his spot, and tall as he may be, Tim Clark couldn't get anywhere near the ball. And we've had 6 minutes of the second half, and the one-way traffic continues.
Yeah,
6-0.
Well, Deco again, you've got to close the man on the ball down, drifts over everybody. Tim Clark tries to get a touch on the ball, wasn't strong. And look at that little drift off to the far post. Great striker's goal, that is. Defender's ball watching. Look at the space he's got to cross that ball. He bends the ball into the far post, and there's that man, Pena, to head it back across goal into the net.
Morley. Well, there's no let-up, is there? Capuccio again is down this right-hand side. Driven across, 7-0.
Same man again.
Pena's hat-trick. That's 2 players on a hat-trick now. Pena and Deco in the first half, but what, 7 minutes of the second half, Ian, and it's 7-0.
Well, I said that the last one was a striker's goal. This is a striker's goal. What a brave header that is. Diving in front of the Barrytown defender, great ball in. Is that brave, or is that brave? Fantastic header, all power, the pace is in the cross. What a goal that is.
Great goal for Porto. But that expression sums it all up, doesn't it? Well, this has got double figures written all over it, I'm afraid to say.
But he's been a danger man, hasn't he? Capuccio down this right-hand side, time and time again. He's found himself in acres of space, and when he gets into position, he delivers great balls into the middle. Well,
they lost 8-0 in Kiev a few years back. Ironically, after losing there the previous year, as I said in the first half, only by 2-0. Kiev took it a bit more seriously second time around. And Porto, I think, have learned where Boavista failed last year. As I say, funny old game. You lose to the champions last year, only 2-0. And the side that finishes second puts 7 past you. I think that's where some of Peter Nicholas's confidence came from, was the fact that they had only lost 2-0 last year to Boavista. But,
and they went to Azerbaijan and got a result as well and got themselves through, so that gives you a little bit of confidence, but they've come crashing back down to earth tonight.
Oh, big time, big time. Against quality, has to be said. Here's Gary Lloyd. And
I'd like to see them get some sort of consolation, or if they could get on the score sheet. Here they go again.
Penna's waiting in the middle, so too is Capucho. Capucho's touch. And they're looking quite ragged at the moment, not surprisingly being 7 down. Deco stays down. Back on his feet now, though. It's like a training session now for Porto. They're full of confidence. They can try whatever they like. Down this right side again. And this time, well, you're fed up of saying it, really. It's so obvious, but Capucho, wonder if he's ever had so much space and time in a game. They have another corner. The third of this second half. Again, they were asleep. Deco still going. We'll pull it back. Deco. George Andrade.
But they haven't learned, because again it went short to Deco on the edge of the penalty box. He looked to clip it in, knocked it by, tried to get to the byline, then he flipped it into the far post. Came out to Andrade, who volleys it over the top. But what can you say? What can you say for the Barry? You know, they must be so tired, shell-shocked, call it what you like. And everything they try to do is just not coming off. And everything that Porto are doing is coming off.
Well, they're playing against one of the best sides in a country which enjoyed an excellent Euro 2000. It was a joy to watch. We've seen them, Ian, when they played Wales, and they took Wales apart in Rio Villa, not too far from here, just over a year ago. Portuguese football is very much on a high. Lovely measured ball. Again, Penna is waiting in the middle. She's taken away from him on that occasion. Free kick given. That's the challenge from Deco. Frederic. This time it's offside. Assistant referee keeps his flag down. Oh, look at that, outside of the boot, and finds Capucho. Knew he'd be there. Capucho. And wins a corner. It's a bit short for Secretario.
And I tell you what, it just shows the commitment from the Porto players. They could quite easily take the foot off the pedal, but he's lunging into a tackle that Staton was the favourite for, and he's come out of it winning a corner.
The pass from George Andrade, though, I don't think he looked, it just came to him on the volley, outside of the right foot. Ball is driven in, and no problems that time around off Capucho.
Again, Capucho involved in everything, isn't he? He's drifted into the near post, gets a little touch on it. That's a little bit of something at the far post. Well, he's very friendly, isn't he? Mind you, you can't when you scored 2 goals and you're 7-0 up.
I know Inter Cardiff, as they were then, I think played in front of about 50,000 at Celtic Park at Parkhead. Cwmbran played in front of a large crowd too at Celtic. Both games ended in heavy defeats, but siders played in. There's a large crowd here on Monday just to watch them train. I say that the stadium appears more impressive than it actually is, but is a bit run down, but it does hold 65,000, and as I said earlier, they are building a new one for the European Championships. He's not good. I bet he won't catch the ball all night. Not a keeper who you'd say had safe hands.
No, but you know, he obviously kept the clean sheet, did very well for the Flynn chance midway through the first half, came out and closed Flynn down very, very quickly, and the chance went. But you know, these are like the Liverpool and Man United of the Portuguese league, aren't they? Let's not forget that. And I tell you, they won't have a poor keeper, that's for sure.
Secretario. Lovely back heel, but Phillips is there, just tidying up. Deco was ready to pounce. Deco have several players, Brazilian players in this side who now have Portuguese passports. And there's going to be a substitution. And I think it's relief for Barry, because, well, he should hear the ovation for Capucho. He's being replaced by Candido Costa, and the name of Capucho is being chanted vociferously around this stadium, Ian.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic game. He's been man of the match for me, and he missed that chance early on when he did everything right. But I would imagine that Porto will make one or two changes now before the end, and wouldn't surprise me if you saw a completely different side over at Jenner Park next week.
Yeah, Capucho, brilliant player, rubbish in front of goal, mind. If only. Plus Candido Costa. They'll have about, well, still half an hour to go, just over half an hour. 7-0 if you're just joining. Pena hat-trick. Deco hat-trick, two of them penalties. And Frederic getting in on the act as well. And one thing for certain, well, there's nothing certain in football, but I feel there will be more goals here. Here is the substitute. Costa straight into the action. It's with Deco. Towards Pena, drifted away again. Gets the ball back across goal, but took deflection of Andy York for a corner.
Andy York is having a little go at his defenders there, because Pena is just, again, look at the space, drifting off at the far post. And winning his side a corner.
Whipped in. Clark came for it, headed away by Brown. Well, he connected well, but no direction. But there is a deflection and another corner. So no respite for Barry.
Well, Candido on there. That's the last thing Gary Lloyd wanted in left back position, to have another flyer come on.
I'm not sure who that came off, mind, but it is their sixth corner in this second half. Struggling, Clark just gets a touch, and it's out for the throw. Mario Silva.
Barry looking to bring on another substitute. Matty Davis,
Matty
is it?
Davis. Prolific goal scorer over the years for Cwmbran, but not in a position to win any game tonight for Barrytown. George Andrade, Frederic. Gary Lloyd was keeping a few Porto players on side. Here is Clayton. Described as a Mike Tyson lookalike. To be marking him. And this time the flag does go off. And does go up, it's offside. Even winning 7-0, that's not popular with the crowd. And it's Kenny Brown who's to come off. He's replaced in the first leg too against Shamkir.
Let's have a little look now where Matty Davis goes. We've got up the middle with Morley. 4 into midfield, 2 up front, 4 at the back.
Jamie Morley getting a bit caught up in the ball there. No real direction in the back heel. 20 minutes played, just under in the second half here in the Stade de Santos in Porto. And Barrytown on the wrong end of a real hammering.
Yeah, and I feel the problem might be that they're so close to double figures, aren't they? Are they just saying amongst themselves, the Porto players, you know, let's go for 10. Let's really go for it and see if we can get double figures.
Well, if we were back home in Wales now, the chant would be, we want 8, we want 8. I presume there is a similar chant here in Portugal. Barrytown themselves have won games by that scoreline. I remember them putting 10 past TNS a few years back. They showed no mercy on that occasion, and you wouldn't expect Porto to show any mercy either.
And you know, again, a worrying thing, the game's going into a little bit of a lull, isn't it? And that happened twice in the first half. And Porto, within a minute, was scoring another couple of goals.
Maybe that's the danger. Game goes a bit quiet. Barry think the players are getting into this. Job's done. They're taking the foot off the pedal, and suddenly they hit you. Have scored twice in the second half, 5 in the first.
Keep ball now. 1 touch, 2 touch.
Just the substitute. Costa is waiting on this right-hand side. You feel he's ready to pounce any second. So too is Deco going through the middle. Support now coming from Secretario. And they're queuing up is towards Penna. Staten. Straight to George Andrade. Look at that ball. Oh, lovely turn. And Deco is fouled by Scott Morgan.
Just drops off, doesn't he, the strikers into that hole. And very, very difficult to pick him up.
Dangerous ball to play across the defence there, giving possession away. Well, for once he gets his angles all wrong.
He just didn't just got caught under his feet a little bit. Couldn't get all the power into it. We saw him strike one with his left peg in the first half with very little backlift that just went narrowly wide. But that Secretariat down this right-hand side after the collision with Morley just caught him above the knee on his thigh, bit of a dead leg, and already they're calling for the substitute to come on. There's no point in risking him. There it is.
It was the boot really went to kick the ball and missed it. Now he's off, Secretario. Ricardo Carvalho comes on to replace him. Just looking through the Porto side, Ian, I mean, it's a big season for them. Shouldn't imagine we'll see too many of these players at Jenner Park next week.
Yeah, I said it earlier, I think it'll be a completely different side, you know.
I think Kiev did it a few years back when they won 8-0. They brought virtually a second string and still won 2-1. Here's Morley. Lovely skill again, Deco. Secretario still looks in some pain. He'll be carried off on a stretcher. Deco tries to turn away from Morgan. Plays it through, offside against the substitute, Costa. Good decision, was it? Just, well, he was leaning forward.
We'll take it.
I'll take anything.
I think we'll take that one. For all the fans at this side of the ground, as soon as the flag went up, obviously the home fans would go absolutely wild, but this is the challenge. He seemed to be all right for a while because he goes for the ball. He goes for the ball here. I think Morley comes in. Oh, no, that wasn't the action.
Big hit to Porto, 20 minutes to go. Less any stoppage time. And the Porto players just going through the motions now. Jorge Andrade. Ball was out. I feel it should have been a Porto throw because touch did come off a Barry player, but it's they're not going to argue 7-0 up, are they? Hopeful ball, and it's caught everybody out. The goalkeeper's off his line, and he's not going to get there. This is going to be 8. Well, such a simple goal to concede. One pass. Keeper and defender caught out, and Pena scores his 4th and the 8th there for Porto, and 26 and a half minutes played. It's 8-0.
Well, I tell you what, that man Deco, you know, he must get this guy Pena at least 20 goals a season, because he just sets him up the easiest of chances for him to roll out of his feet for Pena, side foot into the empty net. But it was just a big hoof forward, wasn't it? And there Deco is again, just setting up his partner, you know, so that's 3 goals I counted tonight, whereby Deco has been the provider and Pena being a finisher.
And Deco's going off, and there's a standing ovation for Deco. Well, if you could just see and hear this.
You know who reminds me of in style of play is Peter Beasley, you know. Very much the provider, obviously can score his goals himself, just plays off the front man, and he is excellent at finding good space in and around the penalty box.
He's replaced by number 15, Alenichev. I mean, you have to feel for the Barry players, but at least they'll, you know, they've shared the pitch with the likes of Deco and co, and it was just good to see. You know, they're 8-0 down as Deco came off, receiving the plaudits from his teammates, and Jamie Morley shook his hand, you know. So it's just maybe just an expression of, yeah, you know, we're up against quality. And
do you know what he said to him? You're brilliant, son. You are brilliant. And he's cut them to smithereens. you know, throughout the match, scored a couple of penalties. And the lad that's gone off, Capuccio, again, as I played the star-in-law, as well as Penna now, scoring 4 goals. And, you know, they're still going, the movement is still there.
Of course, Jamie Modley could have said to him, get off. I'm glad you're going off, pal. There's another attack building down the right-hand side with Costa. Just hooked away by Lee Phillips. Morley. There's a chant going around the stadium which goes to the music as it used to be, we're all going to Wembley. It's the greatest team in Europe, maybe. That's what the fans think of Porto. I'm sure that they aren't, obviously, but
you can speak Portuguese.
I understand music here. Oh, played across, it's offside, is it? No! Oh, he's missed. Thankfully for Barry Town. Maybe the easiest chance he's had all night, Penna. Everybody looking for the flag. Controlled it well, knocked it wide.
Good touch, just falling over in the final moment. But what more does he want? He's got 4 already. Onside. It's a great start for his season, though, in terms of goals, isn't it? You know, 4 goals already. And we're still in July.
Still in July. Some strikers don't get 4 in a season. But I mean, it doesn't matter, does it, Ian? Whoever the opposition is, I mean, for a striker, goals.
Oh, exactly. They still got
confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've got to put it between those white sticks and past the keeper.
Quarter of an hour to go, and those Barry Town players, I would think, will be just desperate to get back into that dressing room. It's not the first 8-0 hammering in Europe. Kiev have done it to them. And of course, of the quality sides in Europe, Dynamo Kiev, not so powerful as they once were, maybe. But despite not doing too well in the Champions League last season in the group stages, made a phenomenal amount of money. It just shows how valuable a run in the Champions League is and how important it is to get that to the group stages. Another corner for Porto. And this time Clark can gather safely. There's a Barry player down. It was a clash of heads. Andy York is injured as well.
I think it's is it
Scott Morgan,
down,
one of the substitutes.
Carlos Paredes came in at the far post to challenge for the ball. Big number 5, there he is, comes across there. Just the elbow, I think, caught. Went down very quickly, didn't he?
Well, some people arrived very late for the game, considering it was a 9:30 kickoff, but they're leaving pretty early, some of them as well. You can safely say it's not one of these games where a last-minute goal is going to make much difference, but Peter Nicholas, I wonder what's going through his mind at the moment. He was looking forward so much to tonight.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? You could see
really
in his face. You know, he was excited by it. You know, he's taken the team to this stage, and that's a feat in itself. You know, we mustn't forget that, and we mustn't forget also, you know, the massive difference in standard of these two sides. You know, you're playing the best side, arguably, in Portugal, and that have been there for the last decade. And you know, they are like the Manchester United of Portuguese football, and Barry is a great achievement to come here. Fantastic to play in front of 50,000 people against such a great side, but unfortunately I think it'll be tinged with a lot of frustration with Peter Nicholas, because he was hoping for so much more tonight.
Frustration there from Luke Staton as well, unnecessary really, and not in keeping with the character of the game. A bit of a reaction from the players now. I think the crowd felt it should have been red, but it's yellow.
little bit of frustration from Staten there, coming in very, very late there. And as you said, Ian, I know it's frustration. I know it must be difficult for these players to take, being absolutely hammered. But to be fair to the Porto players, they've been very competitive, but they haven't been dirty, have they?
I think they've shown respect to Barry, as the coach said they would. They would take them seriously, and they have done. Strong side, and they've gone for it. Gone for the jugular, and they've succeeded. 8 goals. But as you were talking about Porto being the giants of Portuguese football, a bit of a blip last season not winning the league, but even the Boa Vista supporters we've spoken to, well, we've been here, have all been saying, oh, Porto's league next season. And here it comes again. Penna, this time denied by Tim Clark.
You watch this movement now from Penna. If we get a chance to see that again, here it is. He goes to a good position, comes across his body, can't get it with his favoured right foot, but always has that extra bit of ammunition that he can touch it with his left, and that's what makes him a good goal scorer.
Here's Ricardo Carvalho. 10 minutes to go. And I suppose the question, are they content with 8?
No, I don't think they are. They've shown great enthusiasm all night. Great commitment. Great desire, you know, and they're still showing us that now.
Candido there. You can safely say that was a difficult angle.
You know, and when you get to a situation like this, when you've got a big squad of players early in the season, you know, still, I'm sure the Porto players are playing for their position. When you bring on substitutes, they wanted to show the manager that they're as good as the players that started the match. So there's still plenty of a lot on for the players.
Well, it's well, they're leaving in their hundreds now. But what a crowd! Great atmosphere. 50,000.
Yeah,
more,
easily
50,000 and more. I say about 55,000, which is more than what anybody expected. And well, they've been given a treat by their own players. They could be in for more here. That's a good challenge.
Well done, Lee Phillips.
Porto are first to the ball again. Lee Phillips again does well.
Well done.
That's great. You know, going, showing determination right till the very end, despite the scoreline.
You can always tell a good side, because when they lose possession of the ball, the first thing in their mind is to win it back very quickly.
Well, it's 11:05 here in Portugal. A very unusual time to be watching a game of football. Game kicked off when usually crowds are leaving the ground back home. This time offside against Matty Davis. Plenty of space again for Costa, taking over of course from Capucho. Costa away from Gary Lloyd. And fortunately for Barry, it was a poor cross. But it just shows as well, Ian, you know, Barry qualified for Europe, and one would expect them either through the League or Welsh Cup or whatever next season to qualify for Europe again, Champions League or UEFA Cup. And it just shows what can win around than what you come up against.
Oh,
and
that's right.
It's clubs who are worth millions, who've been doing it year out, who've experienced it for years, and you're playing catch-up, and this day and age the gap is so big.
Oh, massive, absolutely massive, and nobody's expecting any. What we've got to try to achieve is just gradual steps in progression. You know, with the League of Wales, no, not being disrespectful to the League of Wales, but when you come up against Porto, one of the best sides in Europe, with everything that they've got to make them a great club, not only a great team but a great club, then you know, we're always going to be up against it. But what I want to say is the players, what they're learning from tonight, the fact that they can play in front of 50 to 60,000 people in a great stadium on a great pitch, even though they're absolutely being battered here tonight, it's still a great experience which will never be taken away from these young lads out there.
Offside given, I'm not quite sure why. 6 minutes to go. I think it was Penna who was offside down the middle. Just to recap, Penna scored 4. Deco a hat-trick, including 2 penalties. And Frederick as well with 1 goal. Writing was on the wheel very early when Penna scored to make it 1-0. And after Gary Lloyd had headed off the line and Jamie Morley had missed a great chance for Barry. I think even if Morley had scored it, I don't think it would have made any difference. It might have had the opposite effect, really, and upping Porto's game.
Yeah, it's very difficult to, you know, to see that it would have made any difference whatsoever. It would be nice, wouldn't it, if Barry could get themselves on the score sheet.
Oh, it would have caused a bit of a sensation, taking the lead away to Porto. But no fairy tale ending for this particular story. I think the important thing is, and it does tend to happen, and the point you made, Ian, with the League of Wales and the criticism, and I would imagine, I can imagine when Barry lost 8-0 in Kiev, you know, people saying, oh, why bother? But when Brøndby lost 10-2 to Manchester United the same season, nobody was saying in Denmark, why bother and play in the Danish league and whatever. They try and learn from it and say, right, we've lost there. How can we improve it? What can we do? And people have to sit down and start to think, what can we do about this so that that we can improve on this in the future?
Yeah, that's just a stupid attitude in my opinion. You know, why bother? You know, why bother? What a stupid attitude. You know, we've got a team, we've got to try to achieve and try to improve. And if this is as far as we get, that's as far as we get. So be it. But, you know, Barry are the best team in the League of Wales. They've done ever so well to get to this level, and they're enjoying the experience, I'm sure.
Gary Lloyd wins that particular battle.
A bit of a lull now coming, what are we, in the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's not going to be 10. I hope I'm not saying that a little bit too early. But what an experience for everybody concerned.
Carvalho, as Porto just go through the motions. Carvalho again, given away this time. Phillips neatly away from Costa.
Shown 1 or 2 good touches, Lee Phillips, this evening. You know, defensively, and when he's been in possession, he hasn't panicked. He's been strong, holding off. There's that Clayton there, holding him off and trying to keep possession.
Morley. Jenkins. There's Jenkins again, just into the final minute of the 90. Ball played just behind Flynn. Still challenging. And forces the keeper into action. And a bit of excitement down at the Porto end. We haven't seen too much of that in the 90 minutes played so far. Just wait to see how much time is to be added on by the fourth official. A couple of stoppages, but not too much. Well, I think Ian Walsh, at least, as you said earlier, they've avoided the 10.
Yeah, they have, but well,
what a night. 2 minutes.
2 minutes to go. You've got to play the time out. Unfortunately for Barry, flag up, offside.
It was offside. It was a very late flag.
Offside down that far side. But it's, you know, we've said everything to be said. Well, having said that, look at that there. Gary Lloyd, the last defender, definitely playing him on. But we've said everything to be said. You know, it's a learning curve for Peter Nicholas, the Barry manager, and his players. For those people who say, why bother, that's silly, because, you know, we have to do as well as we possibly can, and if this is the level, so be it. But I'm sure the players will be devastated, but hopefully they can forget about it very, very quickly. It will be hard, but that's what they have to do.
Just a minute of the 2 minutes played added on. Just to recap, then Pena scored early on, and for a while it looked as if maybe Barry had weathered the storm, and then 2 penalties within a minute, both converted by Deco. Frederic made it 4-0, and the substitute Costa has possession. Pena's in the middle, and queuing up, 1 or 2 of them. No way through, is there? Pena, important challenge. Well, Pena would have been in for his 5th. Still have to defend. 5-0 it was at half-time. In the second half, it's been Pena's show, really. Scored a total of 4, not offside. Into the final 30 seconds, and still Porto come, and it's overhit. And that could well be the last piece of action. Indeed it is, and it's ended here. I think we can safely say Barry Town's dream has ended in emphatic style with an 8-0 hammering in.
Yeah, it's sad in many ways, but when you come to a club as massive as Porto and you know, make a couple of early mistakes, don't take your chances, gives them the upper hand, and they've gone on and merrily scored 8 goals. You know, some quality performances, I thought, from some of the Porto players, especially Deco in midfield and Capuccio, who was ever present out on that right-hand side, and of course the man that bangs in all the goals, Pena. And when you're up against 3 world-class players like that, you know, it ends up being 8-0.
So, an unforgettable experience for Barry Town, but maybe not one that they will look back fondly upon, but they are getting a generous round of applause here from a crowd of about 55,000 in Porto Stadium. Final score here in Portugal, a real hammering for Barry Town, emphatic in the end. Porto are through to the next round. Porto 8, Barry Town 0. Just to recap the goals, in the first half we saw Pena there, Deco with the first penalty, this is the second to the other side, and then well, they just kept on coming.
There was a spell then with the next 2 goals in the second part of the first half. That ball down the channel again, runners into great position, little back heel, Deco then just lifts it, over the keeper into the roof of the net. That was his hat-trick very early on in the game. The next one, I think Barry... Oh no, we're going second half now. Penna's far post heading. Great header. Keeper gets a touch on it but couldn't divert it. You've got to close the player down if you're going to stop the crossing coming in, and they didn't, Barry. And Penna, there he was, pulled away like a true striker he is. But for me, this was the goal of the night. Capuccio down the right-hand side, doesn't even, has a little look up, drills it into the near post, and that's a brave header from a world-class striker. And he drills it into the roof of the net, and
I think that sums up Barry's night, the look there, the expression there.
And this was just a hoof forward, but Deco, ever aware of his partner up front. And that's Penna knocking it into an empty net for his 4th goal.
So there we are, 4 goals for Penna, last season's top goal scorer in Portuguese football, and he showed us why tonight, and Porto showed what a quality side they are and why they're the favourites to win the Portuguese Championship again this season. No surprise maybe in the end, maybe the scoreline was a bit more than we imagined, but Porto through to the next round. Porto 8, Barry Town 0.